In this tutorial, we'll cover a new feature of the Giants Engine 6, physically based rendering. Before we begin, you can download all the example files via the link below. After the download is finished, we can then copy the zip archive to our desktop and extract the contents. Now we can switch to the newly created folder and open the Water Trailer i3D file. As we can see, the trailer is already dirty, but we'll change that now. We'll do this with a short command to clean or remove the dirt. This can be very useful if you want to test the appearance of your own textures. In fact, we can quickly and easily show every conceivable state of the dirtiness in the Giants editor. But let's first look at how the dirt system works. To begin with, we open the file watertrailer_specular.dds in Photoshop. At first glance, the contents may appear a bit modern art, or at least very colorful and not like a usual specular map. As some of you probably already suspect, the trick is not to look at the texture or image file as a whole, but to look at each color channel individually. So we click on Channels and switch off 2 of the channels. Now we can switch on each channel individually and watch how things change. We can see the green channel is the ambient occlusion texture for the object. The blue channel depicts the distribution of the dirt. And the red channel represents the roughness of the material. This means that the lighter the texture is, the more light gets reflected, as we can see here from the tires in the lower left area of the texture. The material of the wheel rim is metal and therefore relatively bright, while the material of the outer tire is rubber and therefore relatively dark. Furthermore, we can also see the details of the cavity map in the red channel, which is integrated into the diffuse texture of the object. Now, in order to test the different levels of dirtiness, we switch back to the Giants editor. We click on the object Water Trailer, select the Mesh Wheel 01 and make a note of its ID. If the scripting panel isn't already open, we need to open it from the menu under Window, Scripting. Now we can enter the commands in this window. A very useful command in terms of physically based rendering is Set Shader Parameters. With this command, we can change the state of a shader or its parameters, and thus, in our current example, adjust the level of dirtiness, either for each object or for all objects that use the same material. In general, the arguments for this command are constructed as follows. First comes the object in the form of the ID of the object whose shader is to be changed. Second, a string that specifies the parameters of the shader that is to be changed. It is then followed by 4 numbers which specify the new shader parameters. And lastly, we have a Boolean value that ensures that either only the object with a specified object ID is changed or all objects of the same material. For our example, this means that we can make all objects or shapes clean or dirty in one go if we set the parameters of the function accordingly. So now we can clean the trailer and its wheels. To do this, we set the following parameters. 60 is the ID of the first object that uses the dirt shader. We could also choose any other object which uses the dirt shader, in other words, the same material here. RDT is the parameter for the dirt shader we want to change. R stands for the Reflection Intensity Multiplier, which defines how strongly the material reflects light. D is for dirt amount and sets the degree of dirtiness, while T is for dirt texture tile, which sets the size of each grain of dirt. This is followed by the first number value, which specifies the value for the Reflection Intensity Multiplier. The second value indicates the degree of dirtiness, and the other 2 figures specify the scale of the UV coordinates, setting the size of the grains of dirt. The true value at the end indicates that the command will change the shader parameters not only of the object with the ID of 60, but also for all the objects that use the same material. To issue the command and actually apply the changes, we press Shift-Enter. Now we can play with the parameters a little by testing out different values. Of course, we can use Ctrl-C to copy the command to the clipboard and paste it with Ctrl-V. However, if we highlight the command before we press Shift-Enter, it keeps the command in the scripting window and we then won't need to insert it again and again.